Welcome. Xander Holt here, the Primal Sex Expert. And today I'm going to continue with my story about how black blood, renegade scientists, and wild beasts all help me to naturally and permanently overcome my erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation. And how that's helped me help a whole host of men do the same for themselves. Now, this is part 2 on the renegade scientists. If you haven't watched part 1 on the black blood, you might want to do that, because I'm going to start where that left off. And basically where that left off is that my friend had tried ED drugs. They stopped working for him. He got desperate. The doctor gave him an injection of Trimix that he could put directly into his penis that ended up giving him a 12-hour erection, over a 12-hour erection. And he fixed it himself, drained the blood, and when it came out, it was thick and black, like used motor oil. And I freaked out and decided to go down this path of figuring out how to fix the source of my erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation naturally, instead of using these ED drugs and ending up like he did. Well, let me tell you first of all, that was a 4-year excursion of research. And that question, finding the source of your erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation, I mean, good luck. Good luck finding that on the internet, because I spent so much time trying to answer that question. And what I ended up finding was a lot of bad advice and a lot of incomplete advice. And I tell you, with this incomplete advice in particular, people divide themselves into camps. Okay, it's all physical, is that one camp. You know, it's all blood flow. Just fix your blood flow, you're going to have great erections and last as long as you want. The other camp is mental. It's all in your mind. If you just fix this anxiety that you got, you're going to be golden, right? And then there's the emotional camp. It's all sexual shame or sexual guilt. Take care of that, and your erections are going to be great. Well, I'll tell you one problem with that is, first of all, it's all incomplete, right? There's some truth in each one of those camps, which I'll talk about in a second. But none of them are sufficient in and of themselves. They work synergistically. So when you're just focused on one of those camps, what ends up happening is it may help somewhat, but it doesn't take care of the issue. It basically works more on the symptoms than the source, and you end up buying more and more products, which I don't know if that's what they're intentionally doing. I hope not, but that's what ends up happening. That's certainly what I did. I bought a ton of information products, a ton of herbal supplements, and all that stuff. But let's get back to those 3 camps, because I tried them all. First of all, the physical camp, it's all blood flow. Well, I'm a physical therapist, so this is where I started, okay? And I got deep into this, because my knowledge of this is pretty extensive. I've been doing massage therapy for over 30 years, physical therapy for over 20 years. So I understand the body, and I understand the fascial systems, the connective tissue systems, the muscular systems, and how they affect blood flow and nerve conduction. So I started to work on that. In fact, I devised a whole series of techniques of releasing these fascial constrictions, muscle constrictions, nerve impingements that are all interfering with erections. And I tell you, it helped a lot with my erections and my premature ejaculation. But it didn't fix the whole thing by any means. I also worked on herbs. Okay, took a lot of herbs. I mean, almost 30 different herbs I've taken, and all kinds of combinations of those herbs. And while I found some use from it, I still take some herbs to this day. I think they could be beneficial. But I also found that certain herbs or certain combinations of herbs, while they made my erections harder, they actually made the premature ejaculation much worse. And it was like, man, what is the point? You know, yeah, I'm getting harder, but, you know, I'm ejaculating like that. You know, that's the point. It's frustrating for me and my partner. So I did that, and gut health, focused on that. And the biochemicals, I learned all about the different biochemicals that are important: testosterone, oxytocin, dopamine, nitric oxide, CGMP, which a lot of people focus on. Did all of that. All of it was somewhat of a help. Okay, but none of it took care of the problem. I still didn't feel like I was getting at the source. Then I've worked on the mental stuff, the anxiety, performance anxiety, the premature ejaculation, worrying about coming too fast, and all these kind of things. And, bought all kinds of products, hypnosis products, meditation products, all these things on working on the mind. And then I worked on the emotions, right? The sexual shame, the sexual guilt. That helped too. Okay, all of this stuff was helping. But none of it, I felt like, was getting at the source of the problem. And then I did something really stupid. I mean, embarrassingly stupid as a physical therapist. I was getting desperate because I still was not getting the erections that I really wanted, and I still wasn't lasting like I wanted. So one of the things I was focused on at the time was testosterone. And one of the things you can do to build testosterone is heavy lifting, compound lifting. Well, I have what's called an ectomorphic body. Okay, my body is very thin, it's very flexible, right? I'm hyper jointed, right? I'm very flexible at my joints. Not a lot of stability, but a lot of mobility. So I got to be really careful when I'm doing heavy lifting because my joints will just move like crazy. And I ended up, one of the things that they recommend, is squats. I did barbell squats, and I ended up seriously injuring myself. I mean, to where I was on the floor for several days, unable to move, on my stomach with an ice pack on my back. And I am just emotionally drained at this point. I've been working so hard to make these erections better, last longer, and I have made some progress, but it's still not where I want. I still don't feel like I'm getting to the source, and now look what I've done to myself. As a physical therapist, I should have known better, but I was so desperate to get these erections and my lasting power where I wanted it to be that I ended up doing this to myself. So as I'm researching, right, I've got nothing better to do. I'm looking on the web, actually trying to get rid of my back pain faster. I mean, I know a lot as a PT and a massage therapist on what to do, and I'm doing those things, but I'm trying to see what the latest research is, and I stumble across this new science that I knew very little about called epigenetics. And what I found through this amazing science is that we are not controlled by our genes like we've thought since the 1950s. They actually figured this out with the Human Genome Project, is that it's the signaling that happens. Genes are turned off and on by these epigenetic signals. They're not automatically on or off. So we have a lot of control over that, and our environment has a lot of control over which genes in our body are turned on and off. And I started to think, and the light bulb went off. It's like, what if I could use this new science? If I could use this new epigenetic science to turn on the genes that give me the erections, that allow me to last longer, that turn on my masculine genetics, well, then it's going to be simple. Now I'm getting at the source. So while I'm lying there, I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about what I've been doing to fix my erections. And I'm thinking, I know it's not all in the body. I know it's not all in the mind. I know it's not all in the emotions. It's synergistic. It's all of that stuff working together. So I started to think about all the different things I was doing, and I was able to distill it down into 4 aspects of what I call the body-mind. Some people call it body, mind, spirit, but it's this overall holistic concept of what we are. Okay, it's not just the body, it's not just the mind, it's not just the emotions. I'll give you an example, like anxiety, all being in the head. Okay, there are certain types of probiotics, gut flora, that significantly decrease your anxiety. There's certain kind of foods that decrease your anxiety. So you don't have to just work from here, it's all working together. right? What might be causing your anxiety to begin with may be that you're lacking a certain gut flora. So I knew it was much more complicated than all these people I was studying on the internet were saying would fix the erectile dysfunction of the premature ejaculation. So I distilled it down into these 4 pillars of the body mind. If those 4 pillars are addressed, then every aspect that boosts erections are being addressed. So we're addressing everything. And then I figured out a way to apply epigenetics to these 4 pillars of the body mind. And that's how I developed the Rock Hard for Life formula. Now I'm getting at the source of the issue. And once I did that, man, my erections got amazing. My lasting power just shot through the roof. And it's like, man, I have found the solution. I finally found the solution after 4 years. But then something happened that poured gasoline on the whole thing. It made me realize that this was just the tip of the iceberg. There was something that was even more powerful that made all of this work so much better. And I'll talk about that in part 3 when I get into the wild beasts. But if you want to learn more about this story and about the Rock Hard for Life formula, go to rockhardforlife.com, download our free ebook on natural smoothies to help you get rock hard erections, and read our sales letter, and you'll get the entire story as well as information on Rock Hard for Life formula and what it's all about and how it can help you. Until next time, please like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to our free Facebook group, Rock Hard for Life, where you can find out much more about primal sex, lasting as long as you want, and having natural, consistent, stage 4 rock hard erections for life. Until next time, go be a beast!